So, welcome to the review section. Now, Sam, to talk about the article a little bit more, you said before that many people actually find pride in their culture because of this flag. It represents a symbol for who they are as a whole culture. However, I'm kind of curious how many of them actually share an affinity for this flag and the troops that served under the flag.
Affinity.
As I said, most people from the outside will see it as more of a racist symbol, and it represents a lot of terrible, appalling history that happened in the past, especially with slavery.
Appalling. And this has got many companies and organizations involved. So they have been concluding at a gathering pace that the flag does not represent anything too positive. In fact, it's the opposite. It really represents slavery and racism in the United States. At a gathering pace.
At a gathering pace.
So companies have kind of been shifting over to supporting groups such as Black Lives Matter. This includes NASCAR, which have banned the Confederate flag completely, and the Marine Corps, which are both kind of icons of southern states. So it's very interesting to see this shift.
Yeah, I do know that NASCAR is extremely popular within America, and when we picture NASCAR, we do think of those sort of rev heads, sort of southern guys that are really interested in it. It's kind of similar with Australia as well. We know that the country folk really enjoy car racing in Australia, so it's closely associated, and I'm sure there are many people who are against the Confederate flag not being used at NASCAR itself. Just to talk about before, we were saying that Southerners usually have this sort of accent, a very unique accent compared to the rest of the country, kind of country style accent to say. Now, in your country, Sam, there are many dialects and accents, right? So what kind of dialects or accents are in your country?
Well, if you travel about an hour in any direction, you're gonna hear a variation of accents, dialects. I think on TV and in media, the British accent is, what you see on Sherlock or something like what the Queen would say. However, that's not normal English, and there's no such thing as a British accent.
Yeah, that's what I always didn't understand here in Korea. It's I love the British accent. I'm like, which one?
Yeah, I'm like, we got a big landmass. Where are you picking?
Yeah. So it's a little bit different in Australia, where we're a much larger country. However, there are urban and country style accents, as opposed to example, one city to the other. We're not as strong as maybe England or America. England is a very, very good example because there are just so many different dialects and accents within that. It's quite a small country.
Yeah, it is.
Right? So, but Australia is so broad, very wide, but I couldn't tell someone by their accent where they're from.
Oh, okay.
I could probably tell if they are living in urban areas or living in the country area, but to pick specific locations would be quite difficult.
Right.
Now, talking a little bit more about the article as well, the Southerners do seem like they're kind of on their own, different to the rest of the country in some cases if you see on the news. Is this the same in maybe England as well? Are there different regions that may conflict, or example, for America's sake, the North and the South?
Right. Well, that's a good question because right now there's no ongoing conflicts or big conflicts. However, in the past, it wasn't just within England, but it was Ireland.
Right.
The Republic of Ireland and England had a lot of history. There's terrorism that went on, and there's a lot of politics. But as of today, there's no big regional conflicts. I know Scotland actually is considering leaving the UK due to Brexit and unfortunate circumstances. So there's political conflict definitely between regions. Between people, not really. There was definitely in the past with previous prime ministers, with Liverpool and London, Margaret Thatcher, and it gets all complicated, but not really anymore. I don't know. How about you?
Yeah, we're basically this. Actually, due to the COVID virus at the moment, everyone is excluding Victoria, which is the southern state in Australia, because everyone's angry at them.
Oh, really?
They're the only state at the moment who's been on a lockdown twice. So everyone in Australia is blaming them at the moment for spreading the COVID-19 virus through Australia. Apart from that, sports is a big rivalry. There is
that's one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
From the north side of Australia, Queensland, to the south side, New South Wales, there's a friendly, in most cases, sports rivalry. There's tons of rivalries within
There's
England.
tons of sports rivalries. Yeah, I didn't actually think about them, but if we consider football, oh my God, everyone hates each other.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. They love representing their country, but as far as regions go, they're very passionate about where they live.
Yes, very.
Anyway, that wraps it up for our review section, and we'll see you on the next unit.